Shall we start by just giving a little bit of a taste of what's to come throughout the course of the week? Obviously, Friday night, all eyes will be on Saudi Arabia. Me, you, Mr. Frotch, and a couple of other special guests will be here in the studio, obviously bringing people a bit of access to knockout chaos as Anthony Joshua and Francis Ngannou set about it in the ring. But not also, we must mention that Zhang and Parker are also going to be going at it in the heavyweight division, and a wonderful opportunity for Nick Ball, who was a guest on the show last weekend, taking on Ray Vargas, getting his opportunity to fight for a world title. Exciting times ahead.
Listen, huge show on Friday night. And do you know what? I'm really looking forward to our show on Friday night as well. Like you say, we've been having a little chat out there in the green room. There's a couple of ideas bouncing around.
Yeah.
Could be quite exciting. It could be quite fun for the listeners getting involved in the show as well. So, yeah, really looking forward to Friday night. But, yeah, massive, massive event over in Saudi Arabia. Can't wait for that one. Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou. Can he pull it off, Ngannou? Can he upset Anthony Joshua? I mean, that is the big question. I mean, he put in an unbelievable performance, didn't he, against Tyson Fury? I know a lot of people saying that Fury was not in the shape that he should have been in, etc., etc. But you've got to respect what Francis Ngannou done to Tyson Fury. And Anthony Joshua has to respect that as well. And I think he will respect that. But he's got a tough fight on his hands there. And Ngannou, trust me, is like, I know... He's getting a lot of stick saying he's a one-fight novice, which he is.
Yes.
Which he is. We can't take that away.
Yes.
But what I took from the fight with Tyson Fury was the guy knows his way around the ring. He's got a good boxing IQ. He knows he's got that adaptability. He knows how to change things up. And more importantly, he has no fear factor, you know, and I think that's what he's going to try and use against Joshua. I mean, fascinating fight. Going to be a great night.
Earlier in the week, Matchroom promoter Eddie Hearn, and obviously promoter of Anthony Joshua, was telling talkSPORT that he is confident that AJ beats Francis Ngannou, but he can't get complacent.
They've got a great game plan, and AJ's full of confidence. He's punching harder than ever. He's more aggressive than he's ever been as well. But you've got to be careful against this guy. You know, you can't just rush in because he's going to throw with you. And we saw that. Tyson Fury tried to throw a big right hand. The guy, you know, he takes risks. He rolls the dice. He threw a left hook. Caught Fury on the side of the head. He went down, and you know, like I said, I felt that he could have got the decision in that fight. So Ngannou's no mug, but you've just got to be what you are, which is fast and dangerous. And I think, you know, he spent such a huge amount of his career being that perfect role model for British boxing and ambassador, and he still is. You know, he's a tremendous guy, but it's just all business now for him. You know, he's got a dream still to become undisputed champion. One of the reasons we're taking this fight is, you know, His Excellency, who's running boxing in Saudi Arabia, said that the winner of this fight will be in line to fight the winner of Fury Usyk. So there's everything on the line for AJ in this fight. And if he can do a good job, and hopefully Tyson Fury can beat Alexander Usyk, I really believe you're going to see that fight.
Eddie Hearn speaking to talkSPORT a little earlier on this week about his apprehensions about the fight, but obviously ultra confident that Anthony Joshua comes through, and obviously that confidence no doubt has been born out of Anthony's last performance against Otto Wallin, where he looked fantastic, obviously teaming up with Ben Davison. Good game plan there, and he went out there and implemented that game plan sensationally well. And as Eddie alluded to in that conversation, there's a bit more data now on Francis Ngannou. Yes, he did surprise us all. He did look like he knew boxing compared to MMA striking going into the fight with Tyson Fury. I stand by that Tyson Fury was not the best version of Tyson Fury going into that fight. Did we get the best version of Francis Ngannou? I don't know. Maybe that version's going to get even better coming into the fight with Anthony Joshua. You know Josh really, really well. Where's your head at right now coming into this fight on Friday night?
My head with Anthony Joshua right now is as good as it's been for a long, long time, because I think that he now believes in his own self-ability again. And I think that was majorly important for Anthony Joshua. And what was missing from him in his performances from the Alexander Usyk loss, you saw him going in against Franklin, and Joshua was trying to find the right trainer. It was like a missing piece of the jigsaw for him. And I think because he couldn't find that right trainer, I think that, you know, that was affecting his own confidence, his own self-belief. And we think that was coming out in his performances. You know, when he was throwing his shots, he was holding his feet. He was not stepping in. You know, he was being too cautious, overthinking too much. You know, Joshua's one of those guys that's got to act instantly, when he's doing his stuff. Like, he can't overthink stuff because that causes problems, and I think with Joshua, it was all about the aggression, educated pressure, but that explosive power that we needed to see. And I think that's back now. I think that's what we saw from Wallin. He was stepping in with his shots. He wasn't throwing single punches and 1-2s and sort of leaning away as he was throwing the right hand. He was putting combinations together. It was phase 1, then going again, phase 2, stepping up his attacks again. And I think that's what we needed to see, the old Anthony Joshua, and we got that against Otto Wallin. And now he has to carry it in the ring against Francis Ngannou. But here's the problem, Catman.
Go on.
Here's the problem against Ngannou. What we saw from Ngannou was that he has a good boxing IQ. What he worked out with Fury was trying to throw the feints. He was throwing the little shots. And what he was doing was, as Eddie Hearn alluded to there, he threw punches when Fury threw punches. Because before the fight, we'd seen brief clips of Ngannou, and you said, you know what? He looks strong. He is what he is, but he does look raw. He does look slow, and I think that's going to be his big undoing, and we expected Fury to walk through him. But what we found out from Ngannou actually is that what he lacks in speed, he makes up for in timing, and that is the thing, and he has no fear factor. He's willing to sit in the pocket, and that makes him dangerous, because when Joshua delivers, when he holds his feet and lets those shots go, Ngannou will punch with him as well. And as we've seen with Ngannou's power, if he lands, anything can happen. That's what makes this fight exciting.
Where would this go on the shock factor? In the build-up to Fury Ngannou, it was being billed as the biggest shock in boxing history if Ngannou was to pull it off. In fact, people were going further than that, saying it would be the biggest shock in the whole of sports if Ngannou was to pull this off. Where would it be if Ngannou was to beat Anthony Joshua next Friday?
Right, so I think with the boxing people, the boxing fraternity, the experts, and the people that really know the sport, it would be a shock if Ngannou pulls it off, because now we know, and it was that unknown before, and now we know. You think that Anthony Joshua, with the experience, he will adapt, he will be more cautious, he'll take his time, and he'll slowly look to break Ngannou down. That's the way that you see it with the boxing people. With the casual fan and the people that you speak to outside of the sport of boxing, people that just dip their toe in and out of it, a lot of people fancy Ngannou to win the fight. Like, it would not be a big shock to a lot of people, especially going off the back of the performance against Tyson Fury. So it's just an interesting one, man. It really is. I think that Ngannou comes with a lot more credibility than he got before he boxed Tyson Fury. I think that's where we're at with it. Yeah, it's a good fight, man. I'm excited for it. But I'm also, my relationship with Anthony Joshua, known him for a long time, since he started boxing. So there is a personal relationship there with him. So obviously, my feelings are slightly different. And, I'm sort of like, I'm a big fan of Anthony Joshua. I've always supported him through the good times, bad times, continue to support him, always believed in him. But I'm nervous about this fight because of what Ngannou brings to the table. He's a switch hitter, but he don't care. He will stand there and let shots go. He's got that thick neck and that big head, and he takes shots well.
Listen, you know that obviously I cover the UFC. This is a man that fights in 4-ounce gloves against big lads that are good strikers. Nobody's knocked him out. Nobody stopped Francis Ngannou in 4-ounce gloves. So now going into the world of boxing with bigger, fatter gloves, different rule sets, he's a very, very tough dude. It's going to take something very, very special to stop him. What have you made, and has your opinion changed in the last 6 months? Because that's all we've had so far with Saudi Arabian involvement in boxing, right? This all started in October when we got Fury and Ngannou, and now we find ourselves in this situation. Has your opinion changed on everything that is happening? What do you think of Saudi Arabian involvement, especially in heavyweight boxing, and where this is going? Good, bad, indifferent? Where are you at?
Listen, I think it's good. And the reason I say it's good is because we are, what's happening in Saudi Arabia is that we're now getting the fights that we've longed for a long time. With these heavyweights and looking for undisputed, etc. The politics of the sport have always kept these fights from happening. Different broadcasters, pay-per-view splits, who gets 60%, who gets 40%, and you sort of kept these fighters apart for that reason and that reason only. Now, with the involvement of Saudi Arabia, the investment of Saudi Arabia, we are getting. So, as a fight fan, I think it's great for the sport because we are now getting the fights we've longed to see. Obviously, for the people that want to go there and they want to see these undisputed fights and they want to see Joshua versus Fury and they want to see it at Wembley. Yeah, no, I know that's frustrating for the fans, but that is a small minority of the of the mass, if that makes sense. So what I'm saying is, I would rather see the fight happening in Saudi Arabia and paying for it on pay-per-view, but we're getting the undisputed fights. You know what I mean? Look, we've waited since 1999 for an undisputed world heavyweight title fight. When you're talking, you know, when you go way back, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. I mean, that's how long, that's how often they come around. We are now getting it again, and the only reason we're getting this is because of the investment of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I mean, where are you at with it?
My attitude's changing. I'm going to be honest. And I think anybody that listens to me on talkSPORT or any platform that I'm on, you'll know that I'm ultra cynical. And that cynicism is absolutely born out of being sold certain things over the years, them not materialising, and then becoming twice shy. The amount of times that we've been told that we're getting certain fights in the heavyweight division and them not happening from various promoters over the years obviously makes you a little bit apprehensive when something new and fresh and shiny and glitzy and glamour comes along and everybody tells you this is the game has changed and we're going in this direction. One thing that I've concluded over the last 6 months is that everything that I think we all once upon a time knew about boxing and its politics kind of no longer exists because of what you've just said. The amount of money that is involved kind of eradicates all that politics. Turki Alalshikh has come in to the sport and he seems to be an incredible boxing fan, first and foremost. I saw a great interview that he did with Adi Oladipo, one of our colleagues, and he was speaking extensively about the history of boxing and his love of boxing. So that obviously gets you excited because he's not here for the crossover, what I would class as circus events. This is a guy that is serious about his boxing. So when you take a step back and analyse what has actually happened over the last 6 months, and this is all coupled with everything externally as well, I had an idea of how to make boxing great. And I'm sure there's plenty of boxing fans that had that idea as well. Make the best fights. Put the best guys in with the best guys, and then the fans will come. What I think Turki Alalshikh has done, and I think he has that in the back of his mind, what I think he's done is make the best events in order to attract the casual fan first. Because my attitude was, get the hardcore fans on board, get them singing from the hymn sheet, they'll sell it to the casual fan. Turki Alalshikh's coming at it from the other way around. And analysing it over 6 months, he's right. And the reason why he's right is this. I'm sure a lot of you have gone on Netflix this week and watched the documentary of Battle of the Baddest. Sensational. Hollywood blockbuster stuff. You've all seen the promos that are going around the world at the moment. Viral content. The casual audience, as Spence alluded to 2 minutes ago, is talking about boxing. Mm-hmm. They might not know about Anthony Joshua. They might not know about Francis Ngannou. They might not know about Tyson Fury or anybody else that's involved in any of these fights. But they are talking about it because of these pieces of content, these promos, these documentaries. Their interest, the thirst is there now to see these type of events. So what he has done, he's attracted the casual audience. Come and look at us. Come and look at what we're doing. Now, okay, there might have been a tiny little bit of luck in there as well with Francis Ngannou delivering what he delivers in the fight with Tyson Fury and putting Tyson Fury on his backside, because that adds to the Hollywood-esque guy off the street, out of a different sport, coming into boxing and doing something that nobody believed he could do. It adds to the narrative. We now find ourselves going towards a fight on Friday. Anthony Joshua, former 2-time unified heavyweight champion, Olympic gold medalist, taking on Francis Ngannou, a guy that, yes, on paper is 0-1 in the world of boxing, but he did that. He did that in the Netflix thing that I've watched 2 minutes ago. So everybody from the casual side of this sporting realm is going to be watching on Friday. They're going to be locked into it. Now, again, going back to Turki Alalshikh and his involvement, what we all want as hardcore boxing fans, I want you to give me Undisputed, mate. I want you to give me Undisputed. What he is going to do in May and in June is deliver 2 fights that we want. So the audience is there. The casual audience has come along because of promos, Netflix, the story, the sell of the guy coming out of the sand mines from Cameroon to now fighting the heavyweight champions of the world. And then all of a sudden he's going to say, right, you're all watching now. Now you're all watching. Here's the best 2 heavyweights on the planet. They're fighting. Yep. And once that's done, here's the best 2 light heavyweights on the planet. They're fighting. Where this could go could be unbelievable for boxing. It could be absolutely unbelievable, and that's the game change. Because I saw it coming from the other way. Yeah. I said, let's do hardcore first, then casual. They've gone casual first, then coming back to hardcore. And that's where the genius is.
And let's not forget the undercards as well. It's not just about this main event. I mean, this is for the hardcore boxing fan now. This is for the purist. You know, when you're talking about Nick Ball versus Ray Vargas.
Outstanding.
Great fight. Joseph Parker versus Zhale Zhang. Great fight. I mean, that is for your purists. That is for the boxing, fans, not just the casual. So there's a mixture of everything in there. How can that not be good for the sport of boxing? So Turki Alalshikh and Saudi Arabia, what they are doing for the sport is turning it around. And you're right in what you say, Catman. When you think about it and you process it, you go, I didn't see that coming, but we got it.
The exciting thing, just to finish on this, I've been complaining about belts, ranking systems, sanctioning bodies, all these things for many, many years. The way that this could go is that we might get one champion per division, one singer, one song in the division. That's what we want. We want clarity in all those things. Best guys fighting the best guys. Mate, where this could go from the narrative that we've seen in 6 months is very, very exciting.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.